Have you ever wondered what guides the lost through a mysterious marsh? What if the answer lies in the ethereal glow of fairy lights? In this sleep story, Fey Lanterns, a fairy's guide through the marsh, you will embark on a captivating journey with Eli, a lost traveler led by the mesmerizing Fey Lanterns. Uncover the enchanting realm of the Fey and discover a forgotten pact that binds two vastly different worlds. In a time that was long ago, nestled deep within the verdant heartland of a kingdom, both enchanting and overlooked, was a peaceful marsh by the name of Luminara. Its serene presence was often masked by the kingdom's vibrant markets and grandiose architecture, a mere whisper in the pages of time, creating a picturesque secret draped in mystique. The Luminara Marsh, though tranquil on the surface, was more than just a quiet, waterlogged land of reeds and fog. It was a vibrant portal, an ethereal bridge that connected our mortal realm to a world as old as imagination itself, the elusive realm of the Fae. Veiled by the thick fog, the gateway silently stood, an unseen hinge that swung between the realms of the mortal and the magical. As night fell, the marsh would bloom under the moon's gaze. An array of tiny, twinkling fairy lights would awaken, waltzing rhythmically to the soft whispers of the marsh winds. They appeared as distant stars freed from the confines of the night sky, their brilliant colors painting the darkness with hues of violet, emerald, and sapphire. Each flicker and flutter echoed a dance that was both ancient and eternal, casting ethereal shadows upon the silhouettes of the marsh flora. These Fey Lanterns, as they were locally known, were an enigma. Their mystical light play often brushed off as mere will-o'-the-wisps. The mysterious lights were frequently mistaken for phosphorescent marsh gas by those unacquainted with the legends. Yet these were not mere swamp phenomena, but a celestial dance orchestrated by the Fae, a dazzling spectacle that pierced the obsidian night, illuminating the marsh with a timeless magic that could only be found in Luminara Marsh. Eli was an unpretentious man, a humble traveler with a soft-spoken demeanor and a heart yearning for the open road. He was the kind who preferred the company of wayward breezes and open skies over the hustle and bustle of city life. Returning from a distant metropolis, rich with grandeur but lacking in charm, he found himself waylaid, straying from the familiar trail that led back to his quaint village home. As the sun surrendered to the night, painting the sky with a palette of dusky hues, Eli found himself standing at the threshold of Luminara Marsh. His heart fluttered uneasily in the face of the unknown terrain, yet his curiosity was piqued by an ethereal spectacle unfolding before his eyes. Countless fairy lights, the famed Fey Lanterns, had begun to twinkle in the heart of the marsh. They sparkled, mimicking a night sky reflected in a tranquil pool, their gleaming forms skirting the surface of the marsh and dancing amongst the reeds. Their luminescence swayed in mesmerizing patterns, swirling in harmony with the nocturnal symphony of the marsh, casting an entrancing kaleidoscope on the water's surface. Eli, usually a pragmatic man, found himself held captive by the spectacle, his gaze chained to the rhythmic dance of lights. The glow they radiated wasn't just physical, it was an ethereal comfort that seeped into his being, a warmth that touched the cold corners of his apprehension, making the unknown marshland less daunting. Around these lights, the air seemed to thrum with a different kind of energy, an aura that was out of the ordinary, almost magical. Eli could sense it in the way his skin tingled and the hairs on the back of his neck stood up. Despite the eerie darkness that the marshlands often bore, these fairy lights felt oddly welcoming, like a beacon of safety in an otherwise menacing unknown. It was as if they were inviting him into their enchanting realm, guiding him through the unseen trails of Luminara Marsh. The mystical allure of the Fey Lanterns, their incandescent glow dancing amongst the fog and reeds, beckoned Eli further into the marsh's depths. There was an undeniable magnetism in their ethereal dance, an otherworldly pull that tugged at the edges of his curiosity, compelling him to embark on an unplanned journey into the mystical heart of Luminara Marsh. With each cautious step Eli took, the marshland seemed to respond. The air grew denser with fog, its wispy tendrils curling around his legs, painting the world around him in a monochrome haze. A strange enchantment settled over the marsh as Eli's boots squelched in the spongy ground, the echo swallowed by the dense fog. The path he had tread on vanished behind him, consumed by the marsh's ethereal mist, leaving no trace of his entrance into this mystical domain. Yet, amidst the growing uncertainty, the Fey Lanterns remained a few steps ahead, their luminescence persisting against the foggy canvas of the marsh. Their gentle glow was a lighthouse amidst a stormy sea, radiating a path of safety in the marsh's deceptive terrain. They danced and twirled in the air, drawing a luminous trail that seemed to hover above the waterlogged ground. The fairy lights never strayed too far, their ethereal glow puncturing the all-consuming darkness around him, always illuminating the path just far enough for him to advance with caution. They were like celestial guardians, guiding him through the labyrinth of the marsh, turning the menacing unknown into a path marked by their mystical incandescence. Eli's journey into the depths of Luminara Marsh had taken an unexpected turn, led by the mesmerizing light of the Fey Lanterns. In the heart of his unexpected journey, with the Fey Lanterns lighting his path, a sudden misstep disrupted Eli's cautious progress. A cunning root, concealed beneath the marsh's thick undergrowth, caught his foot, sending him stumbling forward. His grip loosened on the old, battered lantern he had been clutching tightly, a relic of man-made light in this realm of ethereal illumination. Time seemed to stretch, each second bloating into eternity as he watched his lantern, his sole connection to the familiar world, slip from his grasp. It pirouetted in the air, the light inside its glass panes flickering wildly in a frantic dance, mirroring Eli's mounting horror. His heart pounded in sync with the lantern's descent, the marsh's silence punctuated only by the soft rustling of the reeds and the distant croaking of a lone marsh frog. With a sickening crash, the lantern met the marshy ground. The impact shattered the calm night, the echo reverberating through the marsh, swallowed soon by the fog. The lantern's glass panes shattered upon impact, spilling shards like glinting stars into the marsh. The flame within, once a persistent glow, was instantly smothered, the smoky tendrils of its demise rising in a mournful salute before being consumed by the foggy air. In that moment, Eli's world was plunged into near darkness. The comforting, familiar flicker of his lantern was no more, replaced by the ethereal glow of the Fey Lanterns, the only sources of light in the dark marsh. The sudden loss of his trusted light source was a jarring contrast to the magical calmness of his journey, bringing an unexpected twist in his exploration of Luminara Marsh. Just as Eli was about to be enveloped by the foreboding darkness, the Fey Lanterns leapt into action. In a dazzling display of unity, they swarmed towards him, their incandescence intensifying. The tiny lights fluttered around him like a cyclone of starlight, their luminescence amplified, washing away the creeping shadows and casting an ethereal glow around him. Their radiance was such that it turned the nocturnal marsh into a world bathed in an unearthly day. Out of this swarm of illuminating energy, a small figure started to coalesce. It glowed with the same radiant light as the Fey Lanterns, its form slowly taking shape amidst the swirling dance of the fairy lights. To Eli's wide-eyed surprise, the figure took the shape of a tiny, luminous creature. Its delicate wings shimmered in the fairy light, and its benevolent face was as beautiful as the stories had led him to believe. It was a fairy, a creature of legend right before his very eyes. The fairy introduced herself with a voice as soft as the marsh breeze and as melodious as the rustling reeds. She was Lyra, the guardian of Luminara Marsh. Her luminous form shimmered with an ancient grace, her eyes reflecting the wisdom and serenity of countless ages. Lyra explained that it was her sacred duty to guide lost souls like Eli safely through the marsh. She was the conductor of the Fey Lanterns, guiding their dance to illuminate the safe paths and hide the treacherous traps of the marshland. Lyra's presence, the real-life fairy emerging from the heart of Luminara Marsh, was an unexpected but reassuring turn in Eli's journey. It offered him a newfound understanding of the Fey Lantern's mesmerizing dance and the mystical allure of the marshland he had stumbled upon. This encounter with the otherworldly would forever change his perception of the marsh and the world as he knew it. As Eli basked in the warmth of the unexpected company, Lyra revealed a piece of knowledge buried deep within the ancient folklore. There was a pact, she explained, a long-forgotten agreement etched in the roots of time between the human world and the Fey realm. Every time a human was guided to safety by the Fey Lanterns, it allowed a Fey to cross into the human world for a day. A dimensional exchange of sorts, an opportunity to experience the world beyond their marshy gateway. One might think of this opportunity as a blessing, a chance to revel in the novelty of a different world. Yet, to the Fey, this was not a reward, but a burden. Their realm was a haven of serenity and harmony, where every ripple in the marsh echoed the balance of their world. The human world, in stark contrast, was a whirlwind of chaos and disorganization. It was a cacophony of unfamiliar noises, a jumble of unnecessary hurry and untamed emotions. Crossing over was seen by the Fae not as an opportunity, but an obligation, an inevitable consequence of their duty to guide lost souls. This truth, this hidden twist in the tale of Fey Lanterns, was their unexpected burden. The fairy lights that guided lost travelers also carried with them this secret sacrifice, a complexity that was never reflected in the dazzling beauty of their dance. This revelation added a new depth to the magical spectacle Eli had witnessed. The Fey Lanterns, the enchanting glow of Luminara Marsh, were more than mere guides. They were bearers of an ancient pact, the keepers of a balance between two vastly different worlds. Eli's encounter with the Fae and Lyra's revelation painted a more profound picture of the Fae's relationship with the human world, a twist that reshaped the fables he had heard as a child. With Lyra leading the dance of the Fey Lanterns, their luminous path soon connected with a trail that was familiar to Eli. The worn footpath, etched by the passage of fellow villagers and time itself, led directly back to the comforting familiarity of his village. The sight of the recognizable trail filled Eli with relief and gratitude. Turning towards Lyra, he expressed his heartfelt thanks, his words barely audible over the soft whispering of the marsh winds. However, the radiant aura that surrounded Lyra seemed to have dimmed, replaced by a cloak of melancholy. The weight of her duty, the sobering reality of the pact, shadowed her vibrant energy, casting a poignant silhouette against the twinkling fairy lights. Eli, moved by her predicament, felt a surge of empathy for the fairy. He was a simple man, but he understood the burden of responsibility and the toll it could take. In that moment, standing on the edge of the Fey realm and the mortal world, he made a promise. He vowed to share the tale of the Fey Lanterns and the ancient pact, to echo the story of Lyra and her kin within his village, and to anyone who would listen. His hope was to bring about a change, a ripple of understanding that would make travelers more cautious about venturing unknowingly into the marsh. He sought to decrease the burden on the Fey, to minimize the need for them to cross over into the chaotic human world. Eli, once a lost traveler, was now entrusted with a crucial message, a quest he accepted with a solemn nod to Lyra. In the stillness of the marsh, under the watchful glow of the Fey Lanterns, a new pact was made, one of understanding and shared responsibility, marking the end of Eli's unexpected adventure and the beginning of a new chapter in the tale of Luminara Marsh. With a final wave of gratitude to Lyra and the Fey Lanterns, Eli began his journey home. As he moved further away, the mesmerizing fairy lights, his guides through the darkness of the unknown, started to recede. They slowly dimmed, their dazzling spectacle merging with the enigmatic mist of the marsh, their glow pulsating like a lighthouse beacon in the distance. As the last of the lights disappeared, the silence of the marsh seemed to echo a soft farewell, a whispering wind that hummed a soothing lullaby. It was as if the marsh itself, and the hidden realm within, was bidding him a gentle adieu, sending him off with the silent promise of the Fey Lantern's guidance should he ever find himself lost again. Back in his village, Eli shared his extraordinary tale, the story of the Fey Lanterns and Lyra, the guardian of the marsh. His words painted vivid images in the minds of his fellow villagers, a tale of mesmerizing lights, an ethereal realm, and a forgotten pact between the Fey and human world. The story took on a life of its own, becoming a cherished piece of folklore, a legend that found a place in the bedtime stories told to wide-eyed children and in the wise words shared around crackling fires. His journey and the knowledge he brought back served as a beacon, instilling a sense of awe and fascination about the mysteries hidden in Luminara Marsh, and a word of caution for those daring to venture into the mesmerizing marshland. Eli's tale, the story of the Fey Lanterns, echoed through the generations, ensuring that the legacy of the fairies and their sacrifice was never forgotten. Thus, the enchanting mystery of Luminara Marsh was preserved, its magic and hidden truths safeguarded in the hearts of the villagers, passed down from generation to generation, and so it remains, as the mantle of night descends and wraps the world in its tranquil embrace, that the dance of the Fey Lanterns continues in the heart of Luminara Marsh. Their flickering lights, as mesmerizing as a dreamer's reverie, glow amidst the silhouettes of the reeds, reflecting upon the placid surface of the marsh waters. Their dance is an eternal ballet, ethereal and gentle, a harmonic symphony of light choreographed by the gentle marsh winds. They twirl and flutter, creating a mesmerizing spectacle that pierces the veil of the night, a soothing lullaby of light that ebbs and flows with the marsh's rhythmic heartbeat. Each fairy light, a guardian of the marsh, carries out its sacred duty, their luminescence casting a warm, welcoming beacon for any lost soul that ventures into the marsh's embrace. They guide with a benevolent grace, their illumination cutting through the mysteries of the marshland, navigating the meandering pathways and the deceptive marsh mires. Yet, their dance is not merely a guide for the lost. It is also a delicate act of balance. It is a harmony maintained between the mystical realm of the Fey and the chaotic, bustling world of humans. They uphold an ancient pact, a secret etched into the fabric of time, a delicate trade-off that ensures the coexistence of two vastly different realities. As you lay your head down to sleep, picture the Fey Lanterns' flickering dance. Let their soft, ethereal glow guide you into a serene dreamscape. Imagine their radiant dance, the harmonious exchange between the Fey and human world, the slow, peaceful rustling of the marsh reeds. Let this imagery weave a tapestry of tranquility, lulling you into a peaceful slumber, carrying you on a gentle wave of sleep to a world where the mystical meets the mundane under the watchful glow of the Fey Lanterns. In the comforting silence of the night, remember the tale of Luminara Marsh and its fairy guardians, the soothing lullaby of their dancing lights guiding you into the welcoming arms of sleep. Close your eyes and drift away, lulled by the whispering winds of the marsh, the flickering dance of the Fey Lanterns, and the silent echoes of a tale that bridges two worlds. Sweet dreams, dear listener, as you embark on your own journey into the realm of dreams under the guidance of the Fey Lanterns.